Welcome everyone to today's deep dive, and we're going to be taking a look at UFOs.
Really exciting stuff.
So our mission today is to really equip you with the most compelling facts and insights about UFOs. We really want to push past those typical headlines that we always see.
Right.
You know, the clickbaity ones.
Yeah.
And really uncover what matters.
Yeah, it's all about kind of navigating through the noise and getting to the core of it all, getting to the data.
Exactly. Giving you the tools to make your own judgments.
Absolutely.
You know, the idea of strange objects in the sky isn't something new. It's been around forever. Ancient civilizations documented this kind of stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
Like those biblical fiery chariots or celestial ships in Hindu scriptures. It almost feels like humanity has always had this kind of innate curiosity about what might be out there beyond our planet.
Definitely. It's a common thread in human history, that fascination with the unknown.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then in 1947, a couple of the pivotal events happened that kind of ignited the modern UFO era.
That's right.
1947 Roswell. It almost feels like those events created a template for how we even think about UFOs for decades to come.
I think so. The term flying saucers comes from Kenneth Arnold's report of 9 disc-shaped objects near Mount Rainier, and they were moving at incredible speeds.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Roswell incident, which is still debated today.
Oh, absolutely.
And continues to be a huge source of all kinds of conspiracy theories. Those events, I think, really captured the public's imagination, and they kind of solidified UFOs as a part of popular culture.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, because for a long time, governments around the world, especially the U.S. government, they treated UFOs as so much secrecy.
Yeah.
It's almost like they were trying to balance this potential security threat with this need to avoid public panic.
Absolutely. Well, the U.S. government even launched specific investigations.
Project Blue Book.
Yeah, exactly. They often dismiss public concerns, but in recent years, that secrecy has started to change.
Right. And it feels like the Pentagon's admission of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, ATIP, really changed the game.
Yeah, ATIP marked a big change.
Absolutely.
And along with the release of some declassified documents and those really compelling pilot testimonies, it brought the topic of UFOs into a whole new light.
And then, of course, those incredible videos released by the Department of Defense.
Oh, right.
The Tic Tac and GOFAST videos. It's so hard to deny that something's happening when you have footage from the military that shows these objects exhibiting what appears to be impossible flight capabilities.
It's undeniable that there are phenomena that we don't fully understand happening in our airspace.
Right. And it feels like that momentum towards transparency is continuing.
It does.
I mean, we've got AARO.
The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office.
Right. Tasked specifically with investigating UAPs.
Plus, we've had congressional hearings as well.
Yeah. It definitely feels like we're in a very different era compared to the secrecy of the Cold War period.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's still a lot of frustration with the lack of concrete answers that we have.
Yeah.
Many people feel like the government is still holding back information.
It does feel like we're getting bits and pieces, but the full picture is still elusive.
Right. It's like we're standing on the edge of this vast ocean of knowledge, but we're only just beginning to dip our toes in.
Yeah, it's true. But the fact that science is finally stepping in to apply some real rigorous methodology to the field,
Absolutely.
that's huge.
It's a massive development. I mean, we're moving past those eyewitness accounts and the grainy footage.
For sure.
The Galileo project, led by Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, is a prime example of that.
It is. They're utilizing cutting-edge technology like AI and advanced sensors
to really analyze this UFO data.
Exactly.
And try and separate natural phenomena from potentially something else entirely.
It's fascinating.
It really is. I mean, what are your thoughts on their approach?
I think their emphasis on healthy skepticism is crucial.
Yeah.
You know, being cautious about jumping to conclusions and stressing the importance of reproducible evidence and rigorous data analysis.
That's not about blind belief.
No.
It's about seeking the truth through data.
Absolutely.
It helps separate that genuine mystery from all the noise.
Right.
And this isn't just a U.S. phenomenon either.
Oh, no.
Our sources mention cases in Brazil, Russia, Japan.
All over.
This suggests it's a truly global thing.
It really does point to a broader phenomenon. And with that global perspective, we need to address that central question. Are we dealing with extraterrestrial visitors, or are there earthly explanations?
It's the question that looms over everything.
It really does.
And our sources do present both sides of that debate.
It's so interesting to delve into those different perspectives.
Yeah.
Some people are pointing to those seemingly impossible flight capabilities, advanced technology that seems to be beyond anything that we understand.
Right. And then there's the other side.
Yeah, right.
Those proposing unearthly explanations.
Yeah.
Maybe advanced, perhaps secret military technology, or even just natural phenomena that we don't quite understand yet.
It's like a giant puzzle where each piece raises more questions.
Right, like the Aguadilla video.
Yeah.
The one recorded by U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
Right. You see this object moving at incredible speed.
Yeah.
Then it seemingly splits in two.
Right.
And goes underwater.
No clear explanation.
No, but the footage is definitely compelling.
Absolutely. What were some of the specific anomalies that they identified?
Analysts noted that the object seemed to completely defy our known aerodynamic principles.
Yeah.
It showed rapid acceleration and changes in direction that should be impossible based on our current understanding.
Yeah, it's almost like we're trying to fit these square pegs into round holes with our current understanding of physics.
You got it. And then you've got that analysis of these potential crashed materials by researchers like Stanford Professor Gary Nolan and UFO researcher Jacques Vallée.
I find their work so fascinating. Can you tell us a little bit more about what they're doing and what they found?
Sure. So they're analyzing these materials that eyewitnesses claim came from crashed objects.
Okay.
And what's really interesting is they're finding things that can't easily be explained. They're seeing unusual isotopic ratios and structural anomalies that suggest these materials could be something we've never encountered before.
So, isotopic ratios. For those of us who aren't scientists, could you give us a quick breakdown of what that means and why it's significant in this context?
Oh, of course. So isotopes are atoms of the same element, but they have a different number of neutrons, and isotopic ratios refer to the relative abundance of different isotopes in a material.
Okay.
When scientists analyze these ratios, they can get clues about where a material came from and its history.
Got it.
So in the case of these crashed materials, the unusual ratios suggest they might not have originated on Earth.
So it's almost like a fingerprint that points to something potentially extraterrestrial.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. It's not conclusive proof, but it's certainly intriguing evidence that needs further investigation.
It really adds another layer to this whole debate. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about how all of this plays out in the media. Movies and books have really shaped our perceptions of extraterrestrials, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have everything from the friendly aliens, like in E.T., to the terrifying invaders in Independence Day.
Right.
It's a vast spectrum, and it's so hard to separate those fictional portrayals from the actual scientific investigation.
I think those narratives, they feed into our hopes and fears.
They do.
Creating these preconceived notions that can be hard to shake off.
It's true. But, you know, the possibility of intelligent extraterrestrial life raises these really profound philosophical questions.
Exactly.
It makes us reconsider our place in the universe, our understanding of existence, purpose, even spirituality.
It's a mind-blowing concept.
Yeah.
If we're not alone, what does that mean for humanity?
Right.
Are we ready for that kind of paradigm shift?
It's a question that deserves serious consideration, and it highlights the importance of approaching this topic with an open mind.
Yeah.
You know, separating the facts from the fiction, even if we put aside the question of extraterrestrial origin for a minute, the study of UFOs, of these unexplained phenomena,
Right.
it pushes the boundaries of our knowledge. It's a frontier of science, a realm of the unknown that we're only beginning to explore.
And it seems like we're finally getting the tools to explore it properly with breakthroughs in technology like AI spectroscopy, advanced imaging.
We're not limited to those blurry photos and anecdotal accounts anymore.
Right.
AI, for example, can now be used to analyze huge data sets of UFO sightings,
Wow.
looking for patterns and anomalies that might have been missed by human observers.
It's like having a digital detective working alongside us,
Exactly.
sifting through all that data, helping us make sense of it all.
And then you have those whistleblower testimonies
Right.
and declassified documents that continue to emerge.
Providing new pieces of the puzzle.
It feels like the floodgates are slowly opening, but it's still a drip feed of information.
It leaves many of us wondering what the future holds for UFO research.
It is a fascinating question. With mounting evidence and increasing scientific interest, are we on the verge of a major breakthrough? Could we be close to rewriting our understanding of the universe?
It's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
But even without those definitive answers, this whole journey of exploration and discovery, that's what makes it so compelling.
It does.
And that sense of discovery is only heightened by the sheer volume of UAP reports coming in these days.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just a handful of anecdotal sightings anymore.
Right. The Pentagon's ARO has been inundated with reports.
Hundreds upon hundreds of them.
Yeah. They're digging through a mountain of data, trying to make sense of it all.
I think from what I read, they received something like 757 new reports just between May 2023 and June 2024.
Wow.
That's a massive increase.
Yeah.
What's behind this sudden surge?
Well, could be a number of factors. Increased awareness, reduced stigma surrounding reporting, and perhaps even advancements in technology that are making it easier to capture these phenomena.
It's like we're suddenly paying attention to something that might have always been there.
Right.
What's the breakdown of these reports?
Right.
Are they all just balloons and drums, or are there genuinely unexplained cases in there?
Well, some of the reports can be attributed to things like balloons, drones, or misidentified aircraft.
Yeah.
But there's a significant chunk that remains unexplained.
So what happens to those unexplained cases? Are they just filed away and forgotten about?
Not necessarily. Some are archived because there just isn't enough data to draw any conclusions.
Right.
But there are also a number of cases, perhaps around 21 or so, that exhibit what they call anomalous characteristics.
Okay, so those are the ones that really get the UFO community buzzing.
Yeah.
What exactly are these anomalous characteristics?
So these are the cases that defy easy explanation.
Yeah.
They involve objects displaying flight capabilities that seem to exceed our current understanding of physics, like sudden changes in direction, impossible acceleration, and maneuvers that seemingly defy gravity.
You mentioned earlier that some of these sightings occur near military installations. Does that raise any concerns?
It does. There are legitimate concerns about national security and whether these objects could pose a threat.
Or whether they might represent advanced technology from a foreign adversary?
That's a possibility that can't be ruled out.
Right.
It's one of the reasons there's so much pressure on the government to be more transparent about what they know, the public. And many lawmakers feel like they're being kept in the dark.
And that lack of transparency only fuels speculation and conspiracy theories. It's like a breeding ground for misinformation.
Absolutely. And it was a key focus during those recent congressional hearings on UAPs.
Right.
Lawmakers were expressing their frustration with the Pentagon's lack of forthrightness.
Yeah.
They argued that the public deserves to know what's going on.
It's not just about national security, though. I think there's this fundamental human curiosity, a desire to understand our place in the universe.
Yeah.
This collective yearning for the unknown.
Right.
And these UAP sightings, I think so.
Yeah.
They present those stories, the personal accounts,
Yeah.
in a way that makes them feel more real, more relatable.
Yeah.
And with that growing public interest, I feel like there's been a shift in cultural attitudes as well.
Yeah. There's definitely less stigma attached to the topic now.
Absolutely.
It's becoming more mainstream, more acceptable to acknowledge that there might be things out there we just don't understand.
It's a positive development in a way. It creates a space for genuine curiosity and open discussion, which is essential for any kind of meaningful progress in this field.
It allows for healthy skepticism and rigorous scientific inquiry to flourish.
Absolutely.
And that's where we find ourselves in this really exciting, albeit uncertain phase of UFO research.
We're gathering more data, developing new technologies,
Yeah.
asking tougher questions, and hopefully getting closer to some answers.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's a journey that's still unfolding, and it's a journey that's really captivating the entire world's attention. I mean, it's interesting how the conversation has shifted from, are UFOs real, to what are they, and
Yeah.
where do they come from?
Yeah, it's natural, I think. Once you acknowledge that something exists,
Right.
you naturally want to understand its nature and its origin.
Absolutely. And the Pentagon report, while it didn't find any evidence of extraterrestrial involvement, it didn't rule it out either.
Right.
It keeps that door open,
Yeah.
which is intriguing but frustrating at the same time.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're saying, we don't know what these things are,
Yeah.
but we're not dismissing the possibility that they could be something extraordinary.
Right. It fuels that public interest and that scientific inquiry. It's definitely a breeding ground for speculation, but also for that genuine scientific curiosity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pursuit of knowledge.
Yeah.
The desire to understand that drives both sides of this debate.
We're all seeking answers.
Yeah.
Even if those answers turn out to be way more complex
Right.
than we initially imagined.
It's a humbling experience encountering the unknown. It forces us to confront the limits of our own understanding and acknowledge that there might be things out there that just completely defy our current frameworks of knowledge. But this is what makes science so compelling. It's a constantly evolving process.
Right.
A journey of discovery that never really ends.
You're absolutely right. It's about asking questions, challenging assumptions, and being willing to revise our understanding of the world as new evidence emerges. And in the case of UFOs,
Yeah.
that new evidence is emerging at an unprecedented rate.
It is.
We're living in a time where the line between science fiction and reality is blurring.
It really is. What stands out to you as the most significant development in recent years?
Yeah. What's been the biggest thing?
I think it's the shift in attitude. Okay. You know, the growing acceptance that UFOs are a legitimate subject of scientific inquiry.
Okay.
It's not taboo to talk about it anymore, to investigate it seriously.
Right.
It opens up so many possibilities.
It's exciting. We've gone from these hushed whispers and grainy footage
Right.
to open congressional hearings hearings
Yeah.
and cutting-edge research projects,
Absolutely.
we're finally starting to have a more mature,
Yeah.
more nuanced conversation about this phenomenon.
And as we continue this deep dive, we encourage you, our listeners, to engage with the topic critically, to explore those different perspectives and form your own conclusions.
The truth, whatever it may be, is out there waiting to be uncovered.
Yeah.
And the search for that truth is a journey we're all on together.
Absolutely.
So keep looking up, keep asking questions,
Oh.
and keep your mind open to all the possibilities. The universe is full of wonders,
Yeah,
and we're only just beginning to scratch the surface.
we are.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of UFOs. We hope you've enjoyed this exploration as much as we have.